What's going on, everybody? It is Wednesday or Thursday. Listen for commands. We have an awesome show today. We're going to be recapping Sheffield. We also have special guest Heather Connor, and of course, my co-host Bill Coyne. How are you, Bill?
Well, I'm coming in with a cold, so I'm not saying this is going to be a greater performance than Game 5, 97 NBA Finals, but we'll let the viewers decide.
Yeah. Just so you guys know, Heather will be on at approximately 6 o'clock. You'll see her pop in here then. But me and Bill are going to talk a little bit about powerlifting news and our thoughts on Sheffield. So, Bill, you watched Sheffield. How'd you like it? What are your thoughts?
So I liked it. I thought it was. This is actually okay. So this is the first year I've sat and watched all of Sheffield. I had not done that in the prior years, partly because of my equip lifting bias. But overall, great. I'll be interested to hear what you think because something we've discussed before, a point that you've made, Sebastian, is as the meat goes on year after year, you think, oh well, there'll be a smaller payout every year out of the prize purse. But there ended up being, I think, 11 out of the 11 different weight class totals were
This was the
world
biggest
records were
payout.
beaten. It was huge. It was
It
huge.
was
Something
it
like
was the
three hundred and
biggest
forty
payout ever.
thousand
I mean,
dollars.
I mean, they
Yeah.
were. I think this finally people like decided to start playing the game. Like that's what's all the prize money in powerlifting exists at Sheffield. All of it. There's not like aside from like everything is at Sheffield. So like like people are finally figuring out that you need to just play the world record game. Like you know, winning. I mean, obviously winning is the most important thing, but like most, oh, 10 out of the 12 lifters can't win. So like you might as well go for the money. Like you might as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'd be doing. And like the money is relative to placing. Most of the money is the people in the comments arguing between time zones is funny. Yeah, we are talking. I do talk Central. I do put the CST there. Oh yeah, Heather will be here in 12 minutes.
She'll be here
Um,
soon. But I will say I I,
yeah,
I really enjoyed it. It's already been talked about. You've talked about it. Everybody's talked about it. Stream was a little laggy, but that's what you get for in-house free stream, right? So that's kind of it goes. I think that maybe comes with the territory.
yeah,
But
but
yeah,
I mean, you got 445,000 pound prize pool, 2,200 seat venue, average viewership is in like the 30,000s, and I mean, a stream is expensive, but you're not going to spend $20,000 on a professional broadcast.
right. So I don't. Is that
Like
something
at
that
this point, I mean, they haven't had any issues the past 3 years, so like in their defense, like this is a first time thing. Um, to be
Sure, but that's not a great precedent to set, though, right? I would hope that along with shelling out some extra cash, surely whatever they're going to have to pay for this bigger venue come November, that should come with a greater stream production as well. But we'll have to see.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I knowing the some of the internals that I know, I doubt it. I think it's a control thing, and I don't think it's something that they're going to give up.
Is,
Unfortunately,
is that control from SBD or from the IPF?
SPD.
Okay,
No, I mean the IPF. I mean, if the IPF was smart, they would lever this as part of their CBS Sports stuff.
yeah, absolutely.
Like,
Well, but
I mean,
yeah, the IPF's the IPF.
yeah, yeah. So for the goal of Sheffield is to advertise for SPD. Right. And so YouTube is the right platform for that goal. Is it the right platform to I mean we can debate this. Is it the right platform to grow the sport? I think no, because I think money is what you need for growth. And you need to find a way to find a way to monetize this thing. And just YouTube is great if for like this podcast because you have a constant stream and you can make actually lots of money on YouTube. But for a one-off event, I think they should pay-per-view it. But
Well, we've talked about that. Even if it was something like the first year they charge for it, just make it $1, right? Because if you've got tens of thousands of people, okay, that can easily cover the cost of. You can at least break even on just the streaming
on the
side.
live production, right?
Right?
I
Exactly.
think 20,000 people are going to pay $1,
Yeah, absolutely,
right?
absolutely. Yeah.
Me and
Seth, no, you
Future,
don't make money on
no,
YouTube.
me
Yeah,
and Future have been debating this. I think there's lots of potential in YouTube. I'm I'm not consistent enough with this podcast yet to do that, but I genuinely think there's money on YouTube in this podcast. And even I I've already made the money back on this podcast because people come and do my meets from out of state because of this podcast. So like
yeah.
I obviously have a monetization vessel that is attached to this.
And this is also part of like it's the end goal shouldn't just be to make it a giant YouTube event, right? It should be part of it, which we're not going to hold my breath for the IPF to do this, but it needs to be part of a broader business plan to grow the sport and get more money into it, right? And
Well,
that's not just going
it's
to come
interesting.
from
Yeah,
views.
I was on Reddit and someone actually I thought this was brilliant. Actually, they basically just said any instead of having to go to Worlds to get to Sheffield, it should be any of the um, national meets should just be the qualifier. And I'm like, I mean, that's never going to happen, but I love it. Like, I love, like, you can kind of, you not skip worlds, but like you make the national meets the qualifier, and then you take the best one in each weight class, regardless. Um, and then I really like that. I thought that was awesome. I think even more broadly, what it should be is it should be the best performances regardless of where, like, maybe you need to set a certain criteria of referees for the meets, but like if you come and do a Vancouver Houston and the referees meet the criteria, you should that total should count. The kilos are kilos. I mean, I think yeah, that would make an easier way to make it broader. You could come do the team stuff and still qualify for Sheffield. Like that would be really awesome. I think that would help everyone. Like everyone would kind of win in that scenario. Obviously, there's politics with the IPF, XYZ. I mean, but yeah.
Yeah, it's, as long as it's in the right environment,
Okay, I
there's
don't want to say
it, you
bad
can,
take. I haven't thought through that take. By the way, I literally, again, we've talked about this. I don't think this is the system anyway. I'm just talking about like, don't take that as that's not my take. I defend myself. Go ahead.
yeah. But I'll leave it there. I don't know. There were obviously a couple of controversial judging calls, but that's going to happen at every meet. That's
No,
nothing
I mean
unique to Sheffield. Yeah.
that just means you're a real sport. Like,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely.
your
Yes.
sport's
Yes.
relevant enough that people care that the referees are blowing calls. Like, that's good.
Yes.
Dude, the
Yes.
NFL is the biggest business in sports, and they have problems with refereeing. So,
Absolutely. And here's the thing. A lot of these calls, people will have totally forgotten about them by next year's Sheffield. And like in the NFL, there's people still. I mean, I know people in Dallas that are still losing sleep over that Des Bryant
the
no
cat,
catch.
that's
Right,
problem.
exactly. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, that's just part of, like you said, that's just a sign that you've got an engaged audience. But
Right. Yeah.
aside, no, I think outside of the stream, we've talked about there's a little bit of an issue with the pacing to where if you want to make it a little bit more viewer friendly, figure
So,
out a way to tighten it up. Yeah,
what's interesting is pacing. So, I'm going to give myself some credit here. I'm the forward thinking. It's like everyone's opinion is delayed 1 to 2 years. So I say the event's too long, and then now all of a sudden, the comments on like Reddit are all about it being too long, and it's like people are just. I think people just like maybe take a. I'm bragging here, but like take a second, and there's a bit of a delay, and then they're like, you know what? After seeing it for the fourth time, it is a little slow.
yeah.
I think
No,
maybe we just take some time. Good.
I think we set the over under at 5.5 hours last week, right? And were they just over that?
I thought it would be 5 hours. I think it was about 5 hours.
It was definitely over 5 hours. The whole thing was definitely over five from when they did that really odd intro segment in the
Okay,
empty
so
in what looked like in front of the Titanic stairway or whatever.
like way to build hype for an event to put Amelia Potter, who's soft. I like Amelia Potter, very soft spoken though, and Ryan Lapidat, not even in his exciting voice, in his quiet voice, in a quiet room together. Like I know it has to be pre-recorded, but like play some ambient background music, do something to like have some energy. I think they should do that live. I don't know why they do everything else live. Why can't they be in the theater
Yes.
like every
Yeah.
other sport. Why can't they be on the stage? I mean,
Yes. Yeah.
listen, when I yeah.
There is so much more they could have done with that to set the tone, to create more hype. They could, if they're going to do it pre-recorded, they should have done more cutaways, more other clips that were integrated into
which
it.
is
But
funny.
it was, yeah,
They did that last year. So like,
yeah,
you know, they tend to be very like templated with all the stuff they do. So which helps. Like you build the template one year, you can reuse it, and then you can do more stuff the following year. Um, so yeah, it's really interesting the way they'll again. It goes back to the thing we had before. You have people in powerlifting doing these broadcasts, not professional broadcasters. So that's what you're not getting the storytellers. You're getting people who like powerlifting, and so it's different. It's not going to be what people are just asking a lot of this given the circumstances.
yeah. Which is really, you look at any time a sport is really taken a big leap to another level, it's really come from somebody outside of the sport coming in and making those moves. You look at the NFL, you could really, like, Paul Tagliabue is maybe the best example there. Like, he was the first guy that was not like really a football guy to come in as the commissioner and really take it to the next level in the 80s and the 90s before Goodell took over from him. In the NHL, it was Gary Bettman. In Formula One, it was Bernie Ecclestone, and then it became legacy media. I mean, it's just to your point. We need somebody. You need somebody else to, like, again, if you want to be good at media, get some good media people in there, right? You want good
Yeah,
promo,
well,
get some
no,
good
and
film.
it's chicken and egg because there's no money for like I always talk about like we talk about like oh we need the IPF president this and that. I'm like dude, no one is going to work. The amount of money it would cost to hire professional people is not something people have. We don't have that at our disposal. Like we've like it just I was looking at the USA Football financials, which is a great equivalent. The director of USA Football is making $775,000 a year,
Hmm. Hmm.
and in a nonprofit. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
like you want
yeah.
talent, and they're in
501c3.
the Olympics, because you find the best talent and you hire them, and their board is star studded too. Kevin Warren, the Bears CEO is on the board, the Packers CEO is on the board. Like their board is star studded, which is awesome. Um, but yeah, we're still about 2 more minutes, and we'll have Heather on here. Um, but yeah, I like if you want a good media person, it's going to cost you $250,000 plus bonuses plus you can't give stock because they're not profits, but like you can give performance bonuses and all kinds of stuff. And you just newsflash, you want to pay talented people lots of money to come work for your organization. Like it's not a bad thing if you have to pay someone lots of money to come work for you. You're gonna make that money back. That's why you hire them.
Yeah.
Um,
As long as they've got something to show for it, then yeah, it's absolutely worth it, right?
and
But
most
you
of
just got to
these
be willing to take that chance. Yeah.
and these people who you're hiring want performance bonuses. They want to be paid on performance. They'll take $100,000 in base, and if you make the performance package right, and you give them the resources to do it, they will do it. Yeah, I mean, again, like that's probably why SBD has for the first time been the first person to ever create a really successful powerlifting event because they are all incentivized to do a really good job. Where the IPF, like if you're the president, you don't really get anything if they do a really good job. Which is the nature of nonprofits and stuff like that.
Absolutely. So
We just need to be
about
like the
time.
WNBA and subsidized by a six. Oh, that's crazy. Um, no. I mean, subsidized by someone. Yes. I mean, the UFC was subsidized by the Fertitta brothers to the tune of $40 million. They didn't make any money. All right. Heather's in the chat. We're gonna bring her in. For those of you who are wondering, did I accept it? I did accept it. So I think she's. Oh,
There we go.
hello. I told you. I told Heather said she'd wear a Snuggie, so I said I'll wear my cape.
Yeah, because like as soon as I'm done with this, I'm going right to bed.
Oh, this is late for you, isn't it?
It,
Uh,
it is.
Heather, this is Bill. Bill is my new official co-host of Listen for Commands. Um, Bill's from the Chicagoland area and is now living in New Mexico. He works at Mike Zalowinski's gym. Or you work out there?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, Big Mike.
I
I
am
know.
in Mike Zawolinsky's gym. There is a bunch of his credentials right behind me.
Wait, we're bullying him to let us do the podcast. If we just set it up, he's not going to do anything. He's going to be so busy. He's not going to say anything.
Do you think Caesars would kick us out if we just brought in our own couch and like cameras and a big banner and set up in the
I
lobby?
I have banner in my cart.
There you go.
Like Heather, we're flying you out. You're going to come co-host with us. I guess you're not going to compete, right? There's no
No,
reason. No reason.
no, I'm not
But for
competing.
funsies.
Funsies.
All right, so Heather, tell us about. Oh, sorry. For those of you who don't know, Miss America Heather Connor just competed at Sheffield. How was the experience? Well, start us with when did you fly out? Start from the very beginning.
So I flew out on a Monday, and it's when North Carolina was getting that winter storm. You know, everybody freaked out, and I was like, no, it's good. Like, it's gonna be fine. Like, there was ice and everything, and all the flights were canceled the day before I actually flew out. So I was like, all right, this is gonna go good. But thankfully, the sun came out the next day. My flight was pretty late in the evening, so I got like an 8 p.m. flight from North Carolina to Iceland. I hate Icelandic air. Hate it. Can't stand the place. Can't stand the
So,
airline.
do you guys book your own travel, or do they have like someone who does that, or how does that work?
So we look up flights and like proposals just to make sure that it's convenient and not something that's like too time consuming for us. And they are basically like, yeah, this is good. And then they will either they can buy the flights for us or they will reimburse us for those flights, which is pretty like same week thing. So
Yeah, interesting. Because like like obviously the whole idea by media and stuff is giving people the background into this. Like
yeah,
obviously people see you on the stage, that's easy. But like I wanted people to give their story about like what the background, what the experience is. People rave about, or the athletes rave about how well they're taken care of in that experience. Like, is that accurate?
it's accurate when you do things in a timely manner. Like, I mean, there's some people that will wait till last second to do something, and then it makes it very difficult for the sponsors to be able to help them as much as they want to. Because the longer you wait to do something, of course, the price and everything is going to get astronomically higher, right? So,
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, that's a
yeah,
reasonable ask.
it's a reasonable ask, but you still have people that it just comprehension skills, it doesn't, it's not clicking. um,
Do you know that from your experience in the classroom? Or
Yeah, actually, I had a Sheffield experience with that because there was a moment where we were all walking over to City Hall to get like group photos, everything like that. And the last announcement they made is we just want the athletes to come over here. So if you're a coach, blah, 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 like don't go. Like we're trying to limit as, many people in there as possible. There was everybody and their brother was there. I'm like, hello?
everyone wants to be part of the gang. Everyone wants to be in. Yeah, it's so.
I'm like, where did we go wrong? Like, how are you not able to follow simple instructions? So I just had to like, I'm not at school. I'm
You're
not
right.
gonna,
Right. You
I'm
don't
not
have.
gonna
You're
have
not
this job.
not your circus, not your monkey.
Yeah, well, I just felt like everything was a circus at like one point. Like I got to Sheffield, right? The flight was really easy. I had the whole row to myself, so I fell asleep. Um,
That's like a king size bed, like equivalent for.
yeah, like I had said, like if I get two seats, I'm pretty solid. But I got three, and it was great. So then I get to Iceland, get off the plane, just to turn around, get back on the same plane to fly to Manchester. And I'm like, no, we're not doing
Oh,
this.
that's
Um, they did have a shuttle for us waiting wherever we flew in at. And obviously, when it comes to people coming in, they want to not just, okay, I'm going to pick up this person, drive all the way back to Sheffield. They try to make it to where a group of people are going to be there. And I was actually supposed to be shuttling with Bryce. It would have me waiting there for like an hour or two, and I was like, I just can't deal. I can't deal with this. So I just called my friend. They picked me up and drove me to Sheffield, which was great in the grand scheme of things because Bryce's flight got delayed and he didn't get there until midnight. Can you imagine?
Oh yeah, no, that's no. At a certain
I would
point,
have already crashed
that's
out.
so interesting. So like, I'm curious. I mean, obviously there's reasons for everything, but I would fly everyone into Manchester, put them up at a hotel for the night, pick everyone up the next day, call it a day.
Yeah. Well, I got there and I fell asleep. Like I tried to acclimate with the time as much as I could. Like ate some food, fell asleep, tried to rehydrate as much as possible because I wasn't focusing on that really on the flight. And I told myself when I get up, I'm gonna eat some more and then I'm gonna go get my nails done. Went down a dark alley, somehow found a nail salon. And I
Dog
told
and
the lady,
Alley.
these weren't even the nails that I wanted. I showed her a picture and she was like, no, those are ugly. And I was like, all right. I was like, well, you pick. And so she actually picked these nails. And
Hold on, I have my blue lights on. Let me see how are they
they're
done.
like stars, red on this side, stars,
That's you
blue on
can't
this side.
trust the British to do anything creative.
Well,
Um.
she was definitely well, she was Vietnamese. And
Oh.
she was actually
Okay.
telling me just, you know,
So even they even get polluted by the they even just get polluted by being in Great Britain.
I can respect that lady's honesty because another woman walked in there and I guess she's like a pretty casual customer and she made sure to also tell that girl how ugly her nails were. She's like, I told you not to get those nails. She's like a
This is why
mega
you have
bully,
no
but
boyfriend. No boyfriend. Nails not done.
yeah, so I was like, man, I really like her. So yeah, first night at Sheffield was just relaxing. Oh, I found Joe Bornstein at an Italian restaurant. I went to go
That's hilarious.
I went to I went to go pick up my takeout and he was sitting there all alone and I saw him before he saw me. And I said to the hostess like real loud, I was like, "Is that guy over there by himself?" And he just like looks up like, "Oh, who is this girl inquiring?" I was like, "Because he's married." Um, so like the sheer horror that came over his face, I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and text your wife."
That's so funny. And good for him. Getting
I
out
know.
on his staying on it by himself, getting out on his own. All right. So what? So that takes you to wow. You were there for a while. Did you get there on Tuesday?
I got there on Tuesday morning, yeah.
Yes. The
Yeah.
overnight flight is nice because it can kind of accidentally get you on the right schedule.
And that's what I wanted. Like that was like my biggest thing. Like I need to get adjusted to the time zone as soon as possible. So
Is that like? Do you've traveled? You've done this before though. So does that really affect you at this point, or
so the biggest thing for me is I have tubes in my ears. So when those like anything messes up with them, I get really bad vertigo. And I will feel dizzy. I will get very, very sick, and it takes that more so longer for me to acclimate, just getting my ears and everything back to normal. So that wasn't really fun the first day.
oh yeah, no, I don't
Yeah.
have tubes in my ears and my ears don't pump up like that. Okay, so like, what are you doing in the meantime? Do you go to the Ultraflex gym or where do you guys train at?
So I trained at SPD headquarters. They had a shuttle that like we had time slots that we signed up for. And so during those time slots, they would take us over to SPD headquarters and that's where we would train. So the first day, it was just me in there all by myself. Like I'm an early riser, so I felt like I could get that training out of the way relatively quick. And then the second day of training, I was actually there with everybody almost, it seemed like that was competing. And I hated that so much.
So this would have been Wednesday or
Thursday.
Thursday. Okay, you trained Wednesday by yourself. Thursday,
Yes.
everyone was there. Are you taking Friday off then? Or are you
And
still
I took
training?
Friday off, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was everyone doing pretty much the same thing in training on Thursday, or did it vary pretty widely from lifter to lifter? Like, are there some people still taking heavy-ish weights, or people still doing just the stock lifts or assistance work?
I mean, it's all dependent on the lifter, right? Like for me on Thursday, I had SBD day, and I was like, really? I hated that. But my coach is there, like hearing me complain and just didn't care. So I got it done. But then you had like Meg Scanlon, who was squatting and benching and what looked to be like relatively easy weight for her. And then you also had people in there just doing the movements, like keeping their blood flowing, keeping the body moving. So, but I want to say like Emil from Bulgaria, it may not have been heavy for him, but it looked like he was kind of pushing the weight a little bit just so, you know, maybe that's what works for him, but
But
I don't know.
that sounds very Bulgarian.
I was
Yes.
gonna say that's
Yeah.
Eastern. That's Eastern.
Yeah.
That's Eastern for you.
Yeah. But for me, like, because of the amount of people that were in there, like, I felt like I really couldn't focus on my training because it became like a yapping session.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I would have my earphones in, but of course I have all this hair and they wouldn't be able to see it. So then I felt like a bitch if I didn't take out my
You don't
earphones.
have the big. All girls have those big over-ear headphones that just scream, "Don't talk to me."
Well, I did have those and then I broke them.
Oh, was that the deadlift? You break them on your deadlift?
Yeah, I
Um,
did.
R.I.P.
I guess
I didn't
type of
feel like
sponsor
buying
again.
more. So, the last training session I actually didn't like. I was very overstimulated and I wanted to get back as soon as possible. I also had media that day, where they were doing like the Sheffield photos and the interviews, everything like that. So,
Those came out
um,
good though. Those looked great.
yeah, they did come out good. I mean,
So
I
how
didn't think there was ever going to be a doubt that they weren't.
She's so humble. I love her.
yeah.
So, like, if
So
there
the
was
act
one thing I was going to make sure of, it was the photos were going to look good. So the photos look better than my training did.
That's
so I
what
don't know.
matters.
I don't know if this is jumping ahead, but so like Thursday and then in the warm up area on Saturday, what is that atmosphere like compared to especially like an IPF World in the warm up room? Because it's a little different, right? Because it's not like you're really going head to head with everybody. Uh, it's just because of the format of it.
Well,
So
she
is there a
was.
different? What's that?
She was.
Yeah, absolutely. Heather's
Yeah,
fantastic.
just because of the.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Normally
What is
you'd be
that?
right, but this. This was for basically for first. So
So,
What?
the warm up area when it comes to like venues like Worlds, like you have the warm up area, you walk 2 feet, there's the platform. This was different. They had the men's and women's warm ups separate, and then like the meet and greet VIP area that was like in the center, and then we were, that separated us from our warm up rooms. So when we were done warming up, we actually had to like walk across that, get up on an elevator, which
Mm.
that elevator was really slow. I crashed out during the competition because of that elevator. and
wait. So you're. I knew it was downstairs, but you're saying
yeah,
there's like an elevator. Like I thought it was like one or two levels. It's like you're taking an elevator up there.
yeah, I took an elevator because they didn't want us utilizing the stairs, which okay, I definitely get that. But the elevator, even when we were there, like scoping out the area, like the elevator made a really weird noise, and I'm like, dog, I ain't getting on that elevator.
Mm.
Like that's just gonna
Interesting.
break, you know? So I just I did end up taking the elevator. I only crashed out one time because of the elevator. And then once you got up, you went into a holding room. You still had to go up a little bit of stairs anyways to get to the platform, but it's all good.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
I
it's
think I
not.
think it just raised my blood pressure a little bit because I'm a very timely person. And with somebody that has like extreme scoliosis, I have to time my like warm-ups very perfect. And so now I'm having to give myself leeway with that elevator being so slow. So whereas I would probably go to the holding area on a regular like lifting day, like probably 4 or 3 minutes before the start, I was having to go like 7, 10 minutes before the start just to make sure that that elevator was going to be running on time.
So wait. So sorry if you already said this, but like, how long before you're normally taking your last lift? Like 3 to 4 minutes before,
Yeah, yeah.
but you had to take it seven, so it kind of messed up your cadence.
Yeah,
Is
it
what?
definitely
Yeah.
messed up my cadence. So, that's something I didn't prepare for, which I mean, that's okay. Like who really knows how it's gonna go on the day of? But I even told like because Ronnie Elm was helping me back there, and I even told him like, man, this is making me anxious. I don't like waiting this long, or I don't like waiting on something that's making me feel like I'm being rushed to get somewhere else. Because we kind of pushed the time a little bit on bench, and that's when the elevator was taking a lot, like it felt like it was going a lot slower. And it was like 2 minutes before the start. I'm like, obviously, I'm opening up with bench. And when that elevator was not going the speed I needed to get down to pick us up, I was ready to just start swinging.
Mhm.
Not in the elevator.
Well,
Okay,
because
so
because Amanda's boyfriend comes into the elevator and like I'm like, cool, like we're gonna go up. And then he throws his leg in the door, stops it, like the door reopens up, and I'm like, Calvin, I swear, if you don't get your body in this elevator, like that's when I started crashing out. Like we had this whole conversation like afterwards, but I was ready to physically take him and throw him out the elevator. Like we're
that
going down.
would be, you should win Sheffield if you did that. Like you should just, it should be over.
Yeah, like
You
I
should
would have,
win the trophy.
I probably would have got kicked out and just boycotted everything. So, but I mean, it went okay.
Yeah, so talk about a little bit about your let's get into your performance on the day. Like, how did that all go? Was it like I don't obviously winning is the goal, so it wasn't the
Yeah,
performance
yeah.
you wanted, but like what was that like? Like, how do you like? How does that relate to things going forward, and how was that?
Right. So, going in, like the big talk was me and Tiffany, um, which I get it. Like we were very, very neck and neck after Worlds. She had had some great performances. My training was going very, very well. And a lot of people were just putting emphasis on that. I think she was putting a lot of emphasis on that, but I simply wasn't, because what I wanted to do was focus on what I could be better at, but also acknowledging that all the other women there, they were kind of being kept in the dark because of the focus heavily being put on me. I'm like, I don't know, man. Like these other girls are pretty strong too. So I allowed myself to just kind of relax and let the day go as it was supposed to. We opened up with 137 and a half on squats, made the bigger jump to 150, and the 150 worked me a bit. What we did notice on the Eleiko rack is I'm kind of in between rack heights. So if it was one lower, it was not going to be sitting correctly on my back. Where we had it made it sit a little bit higher. So I kind of had to work around that a little bit. And
Do
so
you normally
150,
would you normally train on Alico or?
I usually train on a TSS rack.
Oh, okay.
So while it's not a huge difference with somebody my size, that little bit just makes all the difference
Well,
for
yeah.
me.
I mean, yeah. Anything's gonna be
Yeah,
when you're training every single like multiple days a week and then go from one
right.
thing because we had I just want to real quick we had talked about how we saw Russ on the TSS
Hmm.
bench pad, which I think is very different than the Sky.
It
And
is. It is.
is that a bigger? I know everyone wants to like not make excuses, but that has to be a
Oh, the pad
huge
is the
difference.
the sky pad definitely helps my bench a lot more. I think
Oh,
the
okay, so
sky
you feel
pad
independent.
definitely benefits petite lifters a lot. Kind of like how the rogue pad would definitely benefit, you know, middleweight, heavier class lifters. So the sky pad definitely is in my benefit when it comes to bench because, it just is very comfortable with my shoulders. But we made the bigger jump to 150. I think if I would have went 147 and a half and tied my competition PR, it would have set me up for my third attempt of being like 155. That's what we were kind of shooting for. But I think when we made the bigger jump to 150, it gassed me out a little bit to where we're like, all right, the only appropriate jump would be 152 and a half. 152 and a half comes. It was definitely sitting higher on my back. And usually when it's like that, I allow the spotters and loaders to know like, hey, I'm going to roll this on my back a little bit just so it's in a different position. Didn't do it, just kind of went with it and ended up failing. But 150 is still a competition PR, so I was very happy with that. And, just went backstage, start cheering on everybody. Actually left squats, did my own interview in the VIP area because Sanita was going out for her opener attempt I want to say, yeah, her opening attempt of 300 kilos right before my second attempt of 150. And I'm just sitting there like, damn, she really squatting 150 kilos more than my second attempt right now on an opener. So no pressure at all. Like the biggest squatter in the world's just going right before me. So I made like some jokes after squats and then realized I'm not allowed to post anything until like after the competition.
Wait, so
So
they don't want you.
no, they don't want us posting anything like that until, later because they want all the focus to be on the competition, which I get, but I was making
Interesting.
some really good
Yeah,
content.
let's we'll note that for our post discussion. Oh, sorry, I do want to hit you with a little reverse real quick.
Yeah.
Going into the meet, what was your like? What do you like? What do you talk about your goal? Is your goal to make the most money? Is your goal to win? Like, what? How does that factor in? Like, what? Like, are you trying to pick off certain things here and there? Because I know everyone wants to talk about winning, but there is a. I mean, 5 grand. I mean, like.
Well, the biggest goal was to always to get back to Sheffield, right? And it took me 6 years to get back to Sheffield. That was my ultimate goal. I got the goal. Obviously, like everybody's goal is to win. But I also had like plan B, C, D. Like, okay, if I'm not winning, I would at least like the podium. And if I'm not podium, like all in all, like I just want to have a good time. I want to hit some PRs and just really enjoy being there. So while my goals and everything might look a little bit different than most people that were there, I think I accomplished most of those, aside from the winning part. Didn't do that, but it's still like I had the best time, and that's what I wanted for myself. Was not the pressure of, oh crap, I didn't win, my life is over. Dang.
Oh, okay, yeah. So you just set good expectations.
Yeah, I
You
set
came in
realistic
with the good amount.
expectations, ones that wouldn't like put me in this deep dark hole mentally if I wasn't successful with them. So I think everybody else had higher expectations for me than I realistically had for myself, which is fine. Like everybody wants their person to win, but a lot of the noise that I was hearing, I really had to block out so it wouldn't allow me to get caught up and what their expectations were over my own, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So do you feel like were with the expectations like you created for yourself because of how much it took to get back healthy, win worlds, and then get to Sheffield, or do you think that's just an exercise you do?
I think it's
To
a
like,
healthy mix of both. Like my health was in check. I won worlds at my healthiest, and going in here, like I was also my healthiest, and like had no health issues going into it. So I think like the healthy mix of both, of having the real expectations, and then just making sure like come day of, like I was still good, because before I go to any of these travels, like especially international, like I have to get approval from my doctor to be able to do these things in general. But like I have to get screenings done to make sure that when I do go out there, nothing is super inflamed to where there's going to be a rupture or anything like that. And then I'm left having to be in the hospital. So it was good.
yeah, absolutely. For those who don't know, we went over this on the last time we had Heather on the podcast. We won't go into it too much because
Yeah.
we're celebratory here. We're having a great time. But yeah, there's some medical conditions that she has to be aware of. So yeah, okay. So back into it. I think we were on bench.
Hmm.
How did bench go? How was that?
Golly, you know what? Bench was unreal, actually. We opened up super conservative, and we did that to see, with it being the biggest stage, whoever's going to be giving the commands, how are the commands going to go? So we opened up super conservative, and just in case like they were longer than what I'm used to. I felt like the commands were very spot on. So we went 67 and a half, jumped to 72 and a half, and from 72 and a half, we hit the platform PR of 77 and a half. But 77 and a half moved like an opener would, which was very shocking to me because 3 weeks out from Sheffield, I changed up my whole bench technique because bench has always been like the one lift that's kind of lagging behind. And I'm like, man, what is going on? Something has to give. Like, is it my where I'm putting my hands? Is it this? Is it that? I changed my setup to where it allowed me to sit on my shoulders a bit more, which made the touch point bringing the bar down significantly different, which made me stronger in the long run. Because there was points where like 75 in training would move like an RPE 10, and that was without a pause. So I started having to have that conversation with myself. What can I change here? And when I made those slight adjustments, all of a sudden bench started moving significantly well. Um, again, like that last training session at headquarters, like it did have me questioning some things just because I wasn't as focused as I probably should have been. Um, but looking back, 77 and a half moving the way it did, I'm very confident like 80, 82 and a half could have been their day of. So that's, I get off a bench and I'm looking at the crowd like, what the heck was that? Like,
Oh yeah,
and it's
yeah.
me.
Yeah,
I'm the one to blame. I even told Rodney after the 72 and a half, I was like, should we just stick with 75? And he's like, no, Heather, what are you talking about? I was like, brother, I don't know. Just
yeah.
go do your
Put it on.
best.
Okay, so like obviously there's a lot of controversy surrounding the bench calls. What's your take on all that?
I mean, nobody's going to like my take because I've been saying the same take for like years at this point. You know, bench elbow death rules, while it's a very controversial thing, right? It's really dependent on the referee and what the referee deems as adept. We can have a visual representation of what elbow death is, but one referee may see it as good, another referee may see it as not. So it's always been very complicated. However, when people started doing the sinking motion, I'm like, okay, so y'all are just finding, instead of adapting to the new rules, y'all are finding loopholes. I knew that was going to
That's
come
kind of
back.
that's kind of an adaptation, you know.
Yeah, like, I mean, yeah, an extreme adaptation,
Yeah,
right? But
right.
I was like, sooner or later, this is going to bite people in the butt. And here we come with the new rules where it's starting to bite people in the butt. And I'm like, okay, what are we going to do now that they're taking away this sinking motion? Like, what are we going to do now? Because now, like, everybody's up in arms, and I'm like, bro, we've been talking about this for what, 3 years now? You've had 3 years
You
to
know,
correct this.
you know what?
Um,
So I'm looking at this real quick. I have the stats
yeah,
open. Only there were 4 misses that weren't third attempts on bench.
and a lot of them were Meg Scanlon.
Two, yeah, and half of them were Meg,
Yeah,
right?
half of them
And
were Meg
so
Scanlon.
if you look at it, this is a pure data thing. It's really not anything out of the ordinary. Like this isn't. In fact, more squats were missed than bench.
Right.
So, like, I guess, I get. Maybe that's it's a little unfounded. People's remarks. I do think it needs to be cleaned up because if we're still talking about it after
Yes.
2.
I mean, I was watching Meg's bench, and Meg's bench, well, I know how this is going to sound too, but it is what it is. And I've said this for years. Sometimes federations, they are very kind and lenient towards lifters when it comes to certain technical things. Even if it's not bench, right? It could be squat depth, soft lockout on deads. I mean, I've seen it to where Powerlifting America is very lenient on things. And then when you get, and I'm like, all right, well, you know what,
That's
you're gonna have
that's
to clean this up before Worlds because I don't want to hear anybody complaining when Worlds comes and it's like, oh, why did they copy this? I was good at
I
PA
think
that.
that's cultural.
Yeah,
That's
that
cultural. The European countries are just more strict in
They are more
general.
strict. And
In
I think that's why
general,
they tend to perform better at Worlds because they are always given these, strict guidelines, whereas we tend to be a little bit more softer. So when the US tends to go to these international events, you see them failing a lot more than what you would see a European lifter doing. And I've noticed this for a while, but we still have to hold a standard because what are we doing for the lifter actually if when they get to international events and they're just being called on things that we're like, oh, we'll just let this slide, right?
yeah.
And that's not just PA doing it, like, and that's not every PA meet doing that. But I was at a local meet where somebody one time was like, "Don't worry about elbow death, we're not calling it." Why would you say that?
Oh yeah, no, I
Because
know.
they're going to get to nationals,
I
they're going
mean,
to fail it, and then you're going to be
right.
like, "I don't know."
No, and what you've said is the point. You said sometimes it's this. and sometimes it's that.
Mhm.
That's the problem. The problem is sometimes it's like it needs to be. It doesn't matter. The whole point of having a standard is it's not to be above or below. It's to be
Yeah.
at the standard. I always hate when people are like, "Oh, the referee's stricter here." I'm like, "No, it's not
No.
supposed to be stricter. It's supposed to be the same everywhere you go."
Yeah.
And there does need to be a broader dialogue. Obviously, we have bigger issues we need to work on right now,
Yeah.
but there needs to be a broader dialogue about referee training. Like
Right.
you're a referee. If you're a state referee, you never after your first practical, you never learn anything ever again. You never get updated on the rule book. Like there's no retraining. Like
No.
every year there should be mandatory. I mean, think about all the videos you have to watch
Right.
for your team, like all the safety stuff, all the
Yeah.
training. Like there needs to be every year there needs to be an hour video and a test for every referee.
And I think
Um,
a lot comes with experience. Like, how experienced is the referee that's refereeing you right now?
yeah, so that's interesting. You have to the criteria to become like a category referee. You have to
Yeah.
do a lot. So I'm not too concerned
Yeah.
about that. It's just every year you need to be refreshed on
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly. Like, and for me, like, I am deemed as a stricter one, but at the same time, like, I'd rather have a strict referee going against me leading into a bigger event than one that's soft on me. Because I will send all my squat videos and everything to somebody that used to be an IPF ref. And he will give me his honest feedback. Like years ago, he was like, "Do you want me to give you feedback as a friend, or do you want me to put this blue tie on?" I'm like, I always want blue tie information because that is what's going to help me be better. And I don't think people want to hear the blue tie conversation. You know, they they
Which is
they they
which is
want their ego boosted a little bit, and that's which is fine. But
yeah, which is crazy because you would hate to do years of work
hmm
for it all to come down to you not taking a little criticism. Like that's
oh,
crazy.
right, like we should all be able to take that criticism because at the end of the day, and that's the thing, you got to understand who it is giving you that criticism. You don't have to accept every bit of criticism you get. You can be like, all right, take it with a grain of salt, go about your day.
Yeah.
But if it's someone who's been in this for a long time and they're genuinely trying to help you, you should probably take that advice. They're not being haters. They're actually trying to help you.
Right. Absolutely. All right. Transition a little. You still on the deadlifts. So Tiff kind of had a super meet.
She
So
did. She had a phenomenal meet.
do you feel like there was any? I mean, obviously, you probably think you could win anything, but like, did you think at a certain point like it was probably over at all? Does that come into your mind, or like as a competitor, like how does that does that?
I don't think I ever thought about it. Oh gosh, this is over. She's taken this by storm. Of course, like I saw her third attempt squat. I'm like, wow, that was really easy. And then, she got her benches, but I think going in there, I think she had a better handler. So I knew the day was probably going to be in her favor if the number selection was correct. Like once I saw that they put in 169 for her third attempt squat, I was like, okay, they're playing the game correctly this time.
Right. The front have been
Yeah.
sleep
Like
attempt
they're
selection.
not
Is your
overshooting her.
handler different?
She had her coach Panna handling her, whereas at Worlds they had the French national team coach handling her.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's yep. We've
So
seen this
she was
before.
she was overshooting at Worlds, and I'd even made the comment like after Worlds, like had she just hit her attempt, she would have won. Like that's just as honest as it gets. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, that's not how it played out. Now, you know, going into Sheffield, when you have a better handler and somebody that knows you like her coach does, he's going to set you up for hopefully something better than what happened at Worlds. I think Worlds was a very eye-opening experience for her, especially with losing, that they had to figure out a different approach if they wanted her to be as successful as she was. So,
And
you
that's
know,
there's that unique thing where it's like you have coaches who
hmm
are hired by the federations who go through a different process than the personal coaches. And we've seen it be reversed where some athletes have way better success because
yeah,
their personal coaches, who are usually better programmers, aren't picking the attempts, and the national team coaches tend to have more experience. But
right.
it's with the French, it's kind of doing the opposite.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, she was having a phenomenal day. I was cheering her on with every lift. But I never tell myself like it's out the ballpark, especially like going into deads. Like everything, like I felt like I could have lifted anything I wanted to during deads, which became a little bit unfortunate for my third deadlift, because I don't use chalk. I do not start using chalk until I'm about at 175 warming up. And I actually hated the chalk. I did not bring my own chalk. That's on me. But the chalk I felt was not very grippy. It was kind of slick. And so it was kind of like the chalk that I put it on my hand and it could just fall right off if it wanted to. So knowing I'm someone that doesn't have grip issues, I didn't put too much emphasis on it. I'm like, all right, you just got to get out of your head about it. It's going to be fine. Opened up with 195, knew that would be very conservative, made the jump to 207 and a half. That moved absolutely well to the point where I'm like, just put 213 on there. Get the world record. Like, you could not have convinced me that 213 was not going to be there. So going out for 213, I'm like, I'm even smiling because I'm like, I got this. I felt strong. And when I went to pull it, like, there was baby powder on the carpet. The bar was not cleaned off. I know there's a lot of speculation like about that going around the internet. I did notice the bar not cleaned off, but with the adrenaline the way it was, I wasn't going to stop and be like, hey, I need you to clean out this bar real quick. Like, I needed to utilize what I had. And I knew like grip was never going to be the issue, but I did feel myself starting to slide. So I was just hoping like if I can hang on to it a little bit longer, she'll certainly give me the down command. And there was a point where I was locked out, but it wasn't a convincing lockout. I can give credit for that looking back at the video. But with the way I was sliding, I knew if I tried to continue to hold it, the weight was going to come down on my leg and probably snap my leg. So I had to fall forward with it.
The whole sequence of things in when from not to go too away from the performance, but this is the fourth Sheffield. So it was really strange. They were having an operational thing. I mean, those are the same spotters. I recognize those guys.
Okay.
Same crew that they've had the past couple of years. The only thing I think could be different, maybe one of the refs was just being a jag, like and not letting people wipe off the bars. And that happens all the time. You see those referees who
right.
just take it into their own hand, which is I've seen it countless times where it's like the referee just either enforces something that doesn't need to be enforced or like and you heard it from Austin. I 100% know Austin was not lying about this. The referee 100% stopped someone from cleaning off the bar, which at a local meet, you want to speed things up. It's a local meet. Everyone's fine. Okay. The biggest meet in the world. Clean the bar every time. There's plenty of time between reps to do that. I mean, so yeah, that's very interesting. That someone in the comments mentioned something about Taylor Atwood, says bring your own chalks. You got to follow the Taylor Atwood.
I ain't listening to Taylor Atwood. You know what I mean?
That's fair. That's fair.
Because in my head, I shouldn't have to listen to people tell me what I should be doing. Right.
Yeah.
I feel like with the event being as prestige it is,
have to worry that's about. Like not something right.
But again, like, that is, and I picked it up and I said, man, this feels like the chalk at the gym that one time I had where I crashed out. I hated that chalk. I hated it. I even texted somebody. I was like, they have the same chalk that's at this gym. So they knew oh crap, I know she's pretty mad. Same reasoning, if they want to say oh, I should have listened to Taylor Atwood. I also could have asked another lifter, hey, can I borrow your chalk?
Yeah.
But when you're in the moment, you're fixated on doing whatever you
do. No. That's such a weird
thing. You know what I mean?
No. This is such a weird thing. And so actually I have a question that popped up. Do they have some sort of feedback process? Like a formal feedback process for you guys to give feedback about the event, or is it more just, hey, I'm gonna talk to the guys and I'm gonna be like, yo, I would do this. How does I'm sure you're not gonna hold anything back, but
Yeah, I was going to say, well, you're going to get my feedback regardless.
Yeah, right.
Now I personally have not gotten anything on like filling out anything about my feedback, but I do believe that they know us well enough to where we would say, hey, I really like this, or hey, I think this is something moving forward can be done a little bit differently.
So
Um,
what were some of those things?
well, definitely, I mean, we are moving to a different arena, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't know how that whole layout is. I would hope that the layout is a little bit more convenient than, having to go up the elevator, do this, do that. Um, I can't really say anything about the warm-up area. I thought it was good. We each had our, own spotters and loaders. We didn't have to touch anything. Definitely better chalk. And I would say, like, definitely better communication with the referees on what should be expected from them. Because simply going by the rule book alone, every third attempt deadlift, the bar is supposed to be wiped off and cleaned. That wasn't happening, right? So when you get to that level and you do have these international referees, maybe speaking to the referees about kind of like, hey, let's review the rule book, make sure that we're all up to date on what we should be doing to make sure these athletes are.
Yeah, and also part of being a referee is you're like another name for a referee is a judge. You have to have
Yeah,
good judgment. Like
yeah,
if like something like wiping down the bar is not materially affect it can only cause the meet to become less fair. It can't
right,
make the meet more fair to not clean off the bar.
right.
That's just when I saw that I'm like, you really like are we fumbling at this like this?
Yeah.
And I was like, there's got to be a new referee who's on a power trip who's saying no, don't wipe off the bar. Like,
Yeah, like I'm not gonna say like I thought the referees were unfair. Like I can only speak for myself and my experience, and for me, I thought they were pretty fair. After I missed my third squat, I did look at the spotters and loaders. I'm like, did I get all three reds? Like, so that was fair, But it's one of those things to where if I'm going to be honest with myself, and I think that's where a lot of athletes fall short is they're not honest enough with themselves. Like I could sit here, go back and forth with somebody about my third deadlift. However, speaking from a judge slash referee as myself, like I can understand they wanted me to be a little bit more locked out. I could see in that video what they were looking for. I'm like, dang, it could have been a bit better. But there were some on the men's side. And I'm not sitting in that chair. I can't see what they see, but I did think there were some gifts that were given, right? I
yeah, I
think,
mean, there was one in Keenan's in particular. I mean, come on,
yeah,
we all just say that was a bad call. The referees probably weren't positioned properly because
yeah,
that camera on the live stream is probably at a
mhm,
sharper angle than the referee. Because for some reason, the referees like
yeah,
to sit like in like a kind of a I don't know if
right.
you can see the shape. They like to sit like this instead of a
They
referee
were,
here, here, and here, which I always found a
yeah,
little weird for deadlifts because you need to be able to see the lockout from the side.
right. And
Um,
I was able to see Keenan's deadlift live because after I went into for doping control, I actually went in the wrong door and ended up in the crowd. So I just hung out with everybody up there, like, and watched them. Like everybody's like, "What is Heather Connor doing here?" I'm like, "I'm just hanging out, friends. We're just
just
this
one
is
of the
the
fans.
free VIP experience you didn't get." Um, and like it was so funny because there was this really kind guy. He just kept calling me Miss Connor, and I was like, "Right,
Damn right, Miss Connor.
yeah, I'm Miss Connor." I see the comment was like, "Was Jerns dribbling on the bar?"
No,
I
he
don't know what he
poured
was
water on
doing.
himself before he went out.
I don't know what I saw that. I saw that he was pouring water on his head. I don't know what that was all about. Maybe he was hot. I didn't think it was hot back there at all. Uh, but I don't know. I can I thought that was weird, but at the same time, it, when you do choose to grab the smooth part of the bar, you know,
Right,
grip
right.
can remain.
You're at your own risk.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, moving on. What's your next plan? You're just going to be sitting, chilling out. until
Yeah, I'm just
Worlds?
gonna be
Or?
hanging out, I guess. You know, the plan is to, I mean, after Sheffield, there was a lot of people that signed up for Raw Nationals. You know, you had Anthony McNaughton, he signed up, Russell signed up, which that's going to be an insane class to watch at Nationals. So I think with this, like my next move is just to watch and enjoy being a spectator at Nationals and gossip and,
Oh,
ask
you're
my
coming?
opinion matters. Yeah.
Oh, that. Did you see our?
Yeah.
I'm hoping. If not, I'm gonna get a hotel room just for the podcast.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping they just let us set it up. They should. There should be no reason.
I'm just
Otherwise,
gonna be in the
We're we're
crowd,
gonna
just
we're
like,
gonna ask for forgiveness.
yeah, right. We'll set it up. What is all this stuff? Why is there a giant backdrop?
yeah, I mean, it's the same thing when it comes to teaching. Like, I'm just gonna do it and then just, ask for forgiveness later. So
I'll throw them a couple
whatever.
bucks and see what
Like,
happens.
I'm gonna enjoy being in the crowd and just gossiping, starting rumors.
A little wine, a little cup of wine, and
I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna be like, hey, did you hear about so and so? Just something that's totally not true, just
you're gonna
out
play
of nowhere.
telephone. You're gonna play telephone.
And they're gonna be like, who did you hear that from? They're like, Heather. And they're like, really?
Create an
I even
anonymous.
said,
Just to
I even
see
told
what
somebody to do it at
sticks.
Sheffield. I told somebody at Sheffield, I was like, I'm just gonna start a rumor.
What would be a good
Because
group?
things aren't going my way, I'm gonna make things messy. How about that?
Chick's a
So
French spy. She's stealing
like
state secrets.
I remember I was during the meet and greet, this person ran up and like their intrusive thoughts won. And they tried to grab me, pick me up. And I was like, I remember I ran over to Anthony McNaughton's booth and I just sat there. I was like,
That
hey
was from
man,
the meet and greet.
let's not grab people. How about that? Yeah. So, but I was also very hot at the meet and greet. Like there were so many people and I forgot to wear like a shirt underneath. So I'm just sitting there, tracksuit on, unzipped, just looking like a huge redneck.
Rather just spreading. Oh.
It was hot, but I did like the meet and greet. There was a bunch of people that just, you know, I did get a weird message that night. I guess a lot of people found out what hotel we were staying at, and they all went to that hotel. And for me, as soon as I walked in that hotel and saw the amount of people, I'm like, okay, I want to go to sleep. I'm going to go to my room. I'm going to take a shower, and I'm going to sleep. This person messaged me, and they're like, I waited for you downstairs. And I'm like,
Weird.
and
Okay.
I was like, oh, I don't know. I guess, sorry. And they're like, it was till like 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, dog.
Whoa.
But you
Hey,
would never believe
hey,
me.
you're a superstar, bro. You got people waiting in the lobby for you. This is
Yeah,
a real sport now. This is a real
Yes,
sport. We're big time. People
we've
people
got
stalking. It's like that WNBA story where the reporters were following them around and they're like, "We don't want you following us around." Blah blah blah. And it's like you're a professional athlete. It's like now you're a professional athlete. You don't like it? What? I thought you wanted to be a professional athlete.
well, you know what? I was too busy looking at this massive. So I was walking back to the hotel and I was like, what is that? I thought it was a cat. It was a rat. It was a massive
Oh,
rat just eating like somebody's throw up that I guess was just super going at it hard that night. And I'm like, holy crap. I tried to pull out my phone to get a video of that rat, but I guess my excitement scared the rat and I didn't get it.
he
So
could
that
have
was
been a chef. That could have been a chef. You scared the
I know it
chef.
could have been Remy from Ratatouille.
It could have
Yeah.
been. It could have
So like
been.
that's what I get from Sheffield. And I always say like when I go to these places like what I do and what I find exciting, like me finding a Popeyes. I thought that was crazy.
Ooh,
I'm like,
yeah.
what are you doing here? I bet that shit's bland as hell.
No, no. The McDonald's. So I won't eat McDonald's in the States, but anytime international, I have to go to
That's
McDonald's.
different.
And
They
it's
hit different internationally.
no in England. It's like it's the blandest thing I've ever had.
No, that's in France,
Oh, okay.
where I feel like
I
they think mayonnaise is spicy. So, You know what? I will say Big Mike at the banquet, like he was sitting at my table and they brought out like the chicken, like the entree dish. I thought it was really good, but when he took his fork, stuck it in the chicken and held it up, like
Like
I'm
Shrek.
like, you uncultured swine. What are you doing?
Oh, that's so funny.
It was just like he was like looking at it like, what is this? I'm like, it's chicken, Mike. Ever heard of it? It's chicken.
It's not beans and
Um,
toast.
it's
Like,
a vegetable on the plate too. Uh, but I thought the banquet was pretty cool. I looked like Elsa unintentionally, right? I had gotten this dress and it just so happened to be like a blue color. I was like, dang, we're just gonna go Disney princess in on this.
I love the picture of you and Sunita. That was so good. That
I'm
was so
going to
good.
her
Y'all
wedding
looked
and
straight
I'm
out of Harry
excited for
Potter.
that.
So good.
Sunita is like one of the kindest people I could probably ever meet.
I
Her,
didn't realize how tall she was. I
yeah,
couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my gosh, that's huge. She's just, no,
yeah,
it makes sense why she can squat 700 pounds now.
yeah, yeah. I mean, disrespectfully, right before, my second attempt,
Oh,
like,
because you finished the plow. You gotta pull all the plates off.
yeah, like now my spotters and loaders are tired. They're not saving me.
What do you mean? What? Yeah.
They just had to unload all that weight. They're like, "Dang, I can't deal with this right now."
All right, so I guess we talked about that future stuff. So obviously, me and Bill will probably talk about this after whenever you're ready to be done. But we want to talk about the future of the event. Is really interesting. So, what's your take about like what do you think the future of the event, and maybe more broadly, like powerlifting? Like, what do you see? Like, what do you see in terms of that?
I mean, I think with having the bigger event or like the bigger space for the event allows more people the opportunity to be there, right? Because it did sell out pretty quick last year, or this year, I should say, like within 30 minutes to an hour, it was sold out. So some people that kind of miss out on that opportunity, this would be their chance. Like, okay, don't wait around for it because there's more seating. Like, get your ticket now. So a lot of people who, because I think each year the competition gets better, right? At least I think the women did really good this year.
No, well,
But
we talked about prior to you coming on how the prize money actual payout has decreased each year, but then this is the first year that it went back up, and it was
yeah,
actually the highest it's ever been. It usually goes down because it's harder to
yeah,
break records. That's kind of
right, right,
I'm
right.
like I'm like I'm kind of jealous of the business model where you can pay less each year as the event grows. Like I love
Yeah, yeah,
it.
yeah,
But this year, because people started to play the game, like people are
yeah,
going in like we're not blowing our wad at Worlds. We're going to
yeah,
make sure we save the record,
right,
or God forbid, break it at NAPF or Euros or somewhere even
yeah.
worse. Um, so yeah, so how do you feel about the prize pool distribution? Like, do you feel like it's good how it is? Like how, like, do you feel like it should be a little like less top heavy? How do you?
I don't think I really have a say in this because I mean, it could be $0, right? You could just be there for the experience. So I think um
Well.
I think it's
If they're
nice that
selling
people are getting
6,000 tickets, the talent needs to be
yes, yes,
compensated.
yes. Like it's good that it's being compensated, but you know, 5 years ago, this was unheard of, right? So when you have a competition like this and it's bringing such an audience and it's bringing literally level lifters in the world, there should be some compensation for that, right? And I think they're doing a great job by, I think it's a good amount, and what I deem as a good amount may not be the same as like what everybody else thinks is a good amount. But I am excited to see that cash out go a little bit higher as we expand with the arena and stuff like that. So I mean, I think it should. Like if more tickets are being sold, if more of this is being done, more should be given back to these lifters who are literally on that stage giving it every single thing that they got to be there. So
Yeah, I don't think that's a particularly hot take. Um,
no, 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 no.
that's the most interesting part. Obviously, that's my big
Yeah,
thesis is pay the lifters. That's like my number on my
yeah,
list of like when I do direct events. My number one thing is pay the lifters, and
right.
everything else is extract, like, how do we do that?
Right.
Yeah, very interesting as far as how we think that's gonna go into the future.
Because I
Bill,
can
you
only
have,
see it increasing as time goes on. Like as the level of competition gets more and more difficult, which I think we will see that, I think the prize money should get a little bit higher because it's going to become less and less easy to start breaking these world records.
yeah, I mean, I'm gonna give my opinion. My opinion. So I don't think the prize money is going anywhere because
Yeah.
there's no alternatives. So
Right.
like, there's nowhere else you can make that money.
Hmm.
So there isn't any competition to drive that up.
Right.
I was talking to someone. They were like, "Oh, the IPF needs reform." Blah blah blah. They do all this stupid stuff, and I'm like, "Well, reform doesn't come internally, historically, from
Right.
anywhere. Reform comes from the outside." Like
Right.
that's why I'm so big on like USAPL getting better because if they're not better, there's no one to hold the IPF accountable.
Are they getting
Um,
better?
no, no, and the IPF is not held accountable because people are complaining about the rule sets and all the things the IPF
Yeah.
does. And like people in the USAPL are complaining about the IPF, and I'm like, you're the reason they can do this. I just want to strangle them. I'm like, if you were doing good, they would stop doing dumb things, right? But
I
no
love when
one.
a USAPL person complains about anything in the IPF. I'm like,
No, yeah, I'm like, shut up. You guys you do it better. For fuck's sake.
who are you?
Well, yeah.
You're complaining about something like
Or,
you literally
so,
have no skin in.
no, that right, that too. Well, it's a jealousy thing. I mean, come on. I mean,
Like
people feel like they're part
there's
of
a
the.
reason why you're not in PA.
Oh,
You know what I mean? There's a reason why you're staying in USAPL and you're not coming to PA. It's not because of all the great competition that's in USAPL. The competition's in PA.
oh yeah. I mean, I
Yeah,
make fun of so Raw Nationals for USAPL is in Chicago. It's 20 minutes from my gym,
yeah.
and these kids are doing it, and I'm like, just say you aren't good enough. Just say you aren't good enough to go to Tahoe. Like it's fine. Like no big deal.
You could be good enough because there's not a qualifying total.
Oh, that's
You just choose not to. You know,
exactly.
like y'all
Exactly.
want to complain that you can't qualify for USAPL nationals because the qualifying total is too high. Over at PA, you don't even have a qualifying total. So what's stopping
Right.
you from doing it?
Right.
Oh, because you'll lose.
Exactly.
Oh
All right.
no.
What other hot takes do you have? What else is on your mind? Where we
Um,
wrap things up.
The other thing that was on my mind, I had to scold Kedrick backstage because he didn't tell me that Shell was cutting back down to the 66 kilo class. And I don't think that secrets make friends. And he's my coach.
Yeah,
And
like
Shell
we didn't
apologized.
get the hot gossip. What the fuck?
And Shell even apologized to me today. He was like, "I'm so sorry I didn't tell you." I was like, "Leave me alone, actually. Talk to the hand.
I didn't
Talk
get
to
to
the hand."
know. Like you wanted to be in bed with your snacks and like
Yeah.
the gossip.
Well, the thing was, I talked to him in the lobby, and like part of me was looking at him because he was talking to Mike T, and I was like, he doesn't look like a full 74. Like, what are we doing here?
Well, at that
So,
point, he can tell you. It's not gonna the day before. Who's gonna do anything at that point? I guess.
well, I think they just wanted to keep it so low key, like Evie Corrigan did at the first Sheffield, where she dropped to the 52. Nobody knew about it. Kedrick was also doing her nutrition, so now I gotta question Kedrick on a lot of things. He also gave me SSB squats for tomorrow, so I just at this point I think he hates me.
Oh, it's very personal. It's getting
It's
very
personal. Like
personal.
I just
Yeah.
don't think he likes me. He can just say that.
Hey, as long as you're getting results, he doesn't need to like you.
Yeah,
So
he doesn't need to like me.
he's with Sunita now. We got that news the day of
Yeah,
too.
he's with Sunita. I'm top liver now. Yeah. You know
No, no,
what?
that's fun. He's got both ends of the spectrum. That's fun.
He's got the heavyweights, he's got the lightweights.
Well, no, I've always wanted to make a poster of like you and Jesus like on the poster, like the same height and like against each other. We're gonna get you head to
There's
head
one of me and
sometime.
Ray Williams. There's a
Ooh,
photo of him and I side by side.
I need that. We need a
I'll
head to
send that
head.
to you.
I need that. No,
Because
I want that like UFC, like you guys head to head, like face off.
where I'm standing at like the belly button,
Yes, yes, that's what I want.
like you don't even see his head, you just see me
Yes,
standing at his
yes.
stomach.
No, did you see the post meet interview they had where Shell is heel and like Amino Potter's up here? They had the camera like all jacked up and he's the show was
They
funny as
actually did
fuck.
that on purpose. I'm just kidding. I don't know.
Oh,
But wouldn't that be funny?
oh, it was really funny. All
But
right. Well, I think me and Bill are gonna wrap us up and do our final segment. But thank you so much for coming on.
of course.
I really appreciate it. Best of
See
luck,
you
and
in
we will
Tahoe.
see you in Tahoe. Yes.
Yes.
We go skiing. We go ski. One of the you don't ski. Oh.
I'm not going skiing.
I'm going skiing. I'm skiing in the
I
morning. I'm
don't
going to
like
Primetime.
snow. I don't like snow.
Oh, I mean, I really fuck with snow either, but I do like skiing on
Okay, well, I'm gonna watch you. And when you fall and break your
it.
neck, I'm gonna tell you like I tell my students,
I'm an
I'm not a doctor.
athlete.
I can't save you. I can teach you math sometimes and how to write your name in cursive, but I can't fix your neck. So,
Well, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
of course.
I have a
See
good
you.
one. Bye. Well, that was fun.
Indeed. So, what do we want to cover next?
Well, I want to talk about the future Sheffield venue, stuff like that. I mean, that's really what. So right now they're at about 3,000 seats have been sold. So that's about 800 more than the previous venue. Now, here's what's interesting about it. This is my estimation is about 1,000 of those tickets are like reserved. So they're reserved for sponsors, families of athletes, the administrations, people who they work with, all the staff. They've got 200 employees at SBD who are all, I'm guessing, local to that area. So we already know they're selling about 800 extra tickets than they did last time at this point. So I'm tracking this because I'm interested in what the market looks like. If you don't want to go to this event, like you probably don't want to, at least in Europe, you probably don't want to go to any. You don't want to travel to any other event, right? Maybe domestically. I don't know. I mean, a flight to really. I mean, I think it's kind of appealing to go to a foreign country because you can kind of check it off your bucket list and you can go to this thing. So yeah, I'm interested in what I mean. In my opinion, I don't think they should have gone to a bigger venue. If it had sold out immediately, I'd be like, I was wrong. But I think they should have stayed at the same venue and they should have doubled ticket prices because that would have given them about an extra 50, 60 bucks a ticket, which would have been an extra $100,000, which you can use to expand the event in other ways. You can do a better broadcast. You can invest in advertising the event itself. You can put more into the prize pool, which doesn't really help. I mean, I think about it from a business perspective. Like, how do you grow the event financially, right? Because at the end of the day, the only growth metric that matters is your profit, right? Revenue, maybe, all the KPIs, they matter, but like at the end of the day, like growth is measured in dollars, right? I mean, so like when I think about growing the sport to me means making more money because let's say you get more participation, you're getting more memberships, which is more money. You're getting more entries, which is more money. And so like I hate to be the money guy, but like at the end of the day, how are we making more money? So like that's what I want to. And you former money guy, so you can.
Yeah, I mean, we had mentioned before, like there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes and numbers that they're looking at that we don't have access to that I'm sure is informing this decision because they're running a successful business. They know what they're doing in terms of in terms of growing, growing your product. But there's
I don't. I think their thesis is wrong. I think
for the meeting for the whole
they are
company.
well executing. I think an incorrect thesis. From what I've gathered, their thesis is that if they get an arena full of people to show, that the sport will somehow penetrate into the mainstream. That's literally what one of the directors said verbatim. That if they can fill an arena, people are going to start to notice. Which
Do you think that helps? You don't think that's going to help?
I certainly think it helps, but I mean, if you have one event a year, it's not. I think that what I would have done, if I'm the dictator, is I would have kept the event the same. I would have doubled ticket prices, and then I would have tried to create another version of that event at another location. That's what I would have done. That's how I would have expanded. You need duplication because now the people who are watching, the growth of the people who are watching the stream is not really going to increase. The people who are going to watch it live is not, it didn't increase this year. It actually went down. So like what I would have done is if you do a second stream, I assume you're going to get a roughly, maybe a little less because there's now a little bit more of a saturation, but you now have two broadcasts with, average viewership of in the 20,000s. There you go. Now you have two events. Now you're gonna hopefully sell more tickets at both of them. I think I would have moved to do more. Like it's like me if I had a gym, I would have moved to open a second. I think the event was perfect almost the way it was, and I would have moved to duplicate it rather than grow it.
So if you duplicate it, do you do the same format or do you do something different?
I think you do something. I think the format pretty good. I think okay. So like, what do they have going for them? Okay, they have the best athletes, right? Which is like number one. You have a good product, right? So you have the best athletes. So like, you need to have the best athletes. I mean, obviously, what am I going to say? I'm going to say put them on teams, Team USA versus the world, whatever. That's what I would say. But let's say you don't do that. I would do it based on GL or something. I would do it. I mean, I would try to find a way to. They're constrained by their
tweak it a
system.
little bit. You gotta tweak it a little bit. It can't be identical.
I'm telling you, I got all the ideas in the world. You do eight. You do the eight top men, and the second you do the number one eight top men, and then you do the number two eight top men, and you put them head to head, and you do a UFC. You call it Fight Night, and you do it in Las Vegas. Like there you go. You do a men's team versus a women's team. You do Team USA versus the world. You do. Yeah, you do the 83s Rumble, the top four 83s or the 83s versus, and I could sit here obviously execution is the hard part. I can come up with ideas all day. Actually doing it is the hard part. But like what you could do is endless. Like there's endless amounts of things you can do. You could do pros and Joes. You could do 4 pros and 4 college kids on the same team. Like you could do all kinds of stuff. I think that would have been my move, is to do another one, and that keeps the momentum going.
Interesting. So then why doesn't SBD do that?
I mean, any number of reasons. I mean, that's not their thesis. Their thesis is they are trying to advertise their brand, and they're not trying to grow the sport. That's not their goal. It's ancillary. Their goal is to sell more equipment, and they feel like if they can sell more equipment if they grow the sport, right? Where my goal is to, if I grow the sport, I will then make money, right? It's like your priority. The priorities are good, but they're not in the right order. Right. If your priority was, they're not a event company, right? They're an apparel company first, events second. So like their goals are differently. While they are somewhat parallel, they aren't. Well, I don't think they aren't completely aligned. But yeah, as far as why they don't do that, I again, there's lots, but that's also like why it's really interesting because like. Me, I'm obviously very public. Every idea I have is either published on a website or in one of the 15 podcasts I've done. So like exactly what my agenda is. You kind of know what my goals are. For them, I really haven't seen. I've seen some stuff publicly. I know they want a full venue because they think that that's going to help powerlifting break into the mainstream, which I think is somewhat accurate, but I don't think is like. I would rather see the IPF take the lead on all this stuff. I know it's not going to happen, but like that would be awesome.
Yeah, so what would it take for how do we get the IPF to make some moves here? Is it simply just
I brought it up earlier. You would need the USAPL to do something, or you would need some third party to start slapping at them for them to get their act together. And even then, that may not, because their goal is to get into the Olympics, and they would just say, we're going to keep doing things the way we've been doing them because we're the IPF. It only happens with outside pressure. You're not going to get internal reform. I mean, they haven't. It's just it's too hard because it's a political organization. It's not like one person can come in and flip everything upside down. Like that just doesn't happen. Like it would never happen. I mean, that person would have to have so much. That person would have to have built up so much political power and clout over like the past 20 years, and then have all the right pieces in place to do something. Like it's not possible. It's not. The best you can hope for is a better iron lung and not a polio vaccine. That's what you can hope for. Like that. No, that's seriously. It's like there was a quote where it's like if the government was doing whatever, we'd have, or the government was directing research money, it would be the best iron lung in the world, but not a polio vaccine. And that's the same thing. You got to think about it like it's a government. Like I think that the IPF should be doing the Olympics and doing Worlds every 2 years. That's what I think they're good for. I think they're good for that with the help of an outside for-profit league helping propel everything, like a PLL in lacrosse, helping the Lacrosse Federation get lacrosse into the Olympics. Like that's lacrosse is in the Olympics because lacrosse has a mainstream following that then help propel them into the Olympics. Same way with flag football.
Mm-hmm.
But like you want to get, I mean, you'd actually, let's move this conversation a little bit. You'd have a much better time getting powerlifting America to start doing some stuff like this as opposed to the IPF.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think you're gonna get those Evancus Houston type meets. You're gonna get what I'm doing, like those things. You're gonna see are a lot more SBD Austins. Those things are a lot easier to do with powerlifting America opposed to the IPF. So what you're talking about you wanting is going to be easier achieved domestically.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and then maybe if you get, again, you try different formats, you try the series, we talked about like an awesome meet to see would be Texas versus the rest of the union, just a little things like that.
Right.
I mean, so here's the question. Okay, so then you get, I guess, as you know, Sheffield is already, that's the proof of concept is already there. It's been proven. But if you get more meets like that, say if Powerlifting America is able to do more things like that, can that be taken to the international level? Do you think the IPF would then try to push more meets like that? Maybe they don't put them on, but they look for somebody else like SPD to like, hey, do you want to take this on? We'll sanction it. We'll work out some sort of deal.
Yeah, I mean, so there's a rule in business: you never build a product on someone else's platform, right? Because eventually, if it does become successful, Stripe is famous for this. So companies would build financial things on Stripe, and then Stripe would, or Amazon, sorry, Amazon will be a more relatable thing. People would develop products and they'd put them on Amazon, and Amazon has all the data and they see what products are doing well. And so what they would do is they wouldn't even offer to buy you. They would just dupe your product, and they control where it's ranked, and they would rank it right above it, and it would be $1 cheaper. And so you never put a product on someone else's platform, because eventually if it does become successful, the platform is going to try and absorb that. So I'm really interested. I mean, I've talked to before in the past about SBD going to start their own Fed. Like that's not out of the cards. Like I'm I've been over this like over and over. I think there's almost a wait and see as well. Like I'm waiting to see what I can get done. I'm waiting to see what the future of Sheffield looks like. Worlds hasn't changed in 5-6 years. It's been the same thing. I don't think it's going to change much. It's going to be Dubai this year, which is interesting. But then it's going to be then they regress and they're going to Brazil the next year. Like the regret. I mean, I don't think Brazil is going to be a very nice. I think it's going to make Dubai is going to look like a fucking it's already going to be a palace, and then it's going to be some kind of, even the poorest person in Dubai is going to put on a better meat than the richest person in Brazil.
Well, here's a question. Would you rather Worlds be in South Africa or Brazil?
South Africa.
Oh,
and that's like tough to say. That's
interesting.
Tough.
Okay.
No, it's just South Africa just has hosted large events and has, despite the crime and all that stuff, I guess Brazil has too. Brazil hosted a World Cup.
Brazil had the Olympics.
Yeah, the Olympics. Yeah, they both. Yeah, I guess that's interesting. I don't know why I'm saying South Africa. I think I'm saying South Africa just because they have existed.
Brother, have you seen the infrastructure in South Africa lately?
Yes,
they at least have
I would have
roads
to go. Honestly,
Brazil.
I've never been to either place. I'd have to go. So I'm going to retract my statement that I would say South. I don't know why. I guess I said South Africa off the rip because they have existing. Sorry, when I say infrastructure, they have existing powerlifting infrastructure there. Like they've done.
Sure.
There's always this joke they keep going to South Africa for Worlds.
But well, now with what we know about the former IPF president, do you think that has something to do with it?
I think he was buying those everywhere he went. They went everywhere. But he would no. The reason they're there is because the technical secretary is like based out of there. and he runs those events. Yes, and I'm guessing he gets deals and he knows everyone down there. So I'm guessing it's not. It's like it's kind of like why we keep going back to Reno. It's like, you know, we're there. There's a gym there. There's the Caesars connection. There's all this existing infrastructure. It's why we keep going back there. It's why the USAPL keeps going back to Lombard, because Lombard's got the Westin Lombard. It's right by the airport. Everything's there. You go to the hotel. The ballroom's right outside the hotel room. It's all set up, ready to go. So yeah, no, I'm super interested in what the future of that event holds, because what it tells. I'm glad they're spending the money to find out, and I don't have to. I'm very appreciative of that. Because once again, once there's some proof of concept, and once there's a built up enough of, I think we need more media. I was talking today a lot about how we need like there's literally something called the Radio Row at the Super Bowl. Like, it's just all the media. It's like hundreds of different media outlets are at the Super Bowl covering it. And I mean, it's funny. I was thinking about like how would I convince them to let me do the podcast there? And I'm like, I would just show them Radio Row and be like, how about one? And then hopefully other people, like hopefully King of the Lifts shows up there. Two White Lights pops up. Like, you need media coverage to push everything out there. It's not enough to just like, you want multiple platforms spreading your message, not just, what if Gruden's there and we can pull Gruden on the pod, have Gruden come talk to us, like, hey, what do you think about football? Like, what do you think about powerlifting? Like, how do you like it? Like, what, like, that's my dream, and like, have someone like that to talk to. Maybe someone else is in a different, like, I talked to someone's dad. What was he in? He was in marketing for like I want to say it was like Pepsi. And we got to talking, and it's like, you can just talk to different people from different, like, what do you think about this? You can pull different people aside, do different clips. I think there's a lot of potential for that. And then obviously talking to all the athletes. Athletes can come, hey, you're doing it. Looks like a legit thing here. Let me come sit down with you.
Yeah.
What about you?
More exposure. Well, we talked about not just more the day of, but more build up, more hype. Because again, like, they should be hyping the shit out of, dude, the 93 kilo class at nationals is going to be nuts. Like, you could total 1950 as a 93 at this nationals and not make the podium. You might total 2000 as a 93 and not make the podium if everyone's a good day. Like, it's nuts. And they hype the shit out of that. Hype that up super hard.
Yeah, I guess this goes back to what we were talking about, different storylines coming in. I mean, my storyline is, going to be, can Elliott catch Perk? Like, is that even possible? If that happens, what happens with that? There's some drop, like 60, like 59. Blaskar's out there. There's no 59, 66. No one's talking about who was no one's even talking about it. He had a great personality, and no one's talking about him. But he went to Worlds last year. They just made a post from him. Anyway, there is a lot to talk about. 83 isn't going to be interesting. Maybe. But I think Bornstein is just going to come back and have a better meet. 93 is going to be very interesting.
Well, that's part of the question, right? Does he rebound from this? But
now we start to boil everything down. Guess what? 93 is the only class that matters. So the entire 4 days, there's going to be one thing that's relevant. And there's also, like, if you have 8 93s, you also have, that means that 6 of them are going to be irrelevant. And so now you get into that same thing I've been advocating for, is that you should only the top 4 should be in prime time.
Well, except for, I think the spread is not that far.
No, but I think you still need to provide some sort of constriction. Like, I still think, I think it would really help the sport on every single level if every year everyone had to hit a total at a local meet. And then you took only those totals for prime time. That would really help the sport. It would help the sport in a not too materially detrimental way to the athletes. It would help the sport a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. The only thing would be, if you do have, say if you've got 6, 7, 8 lifters all that don't have that big of a spread. What if that guy, you could say people that say for example, okay, totally hypothetical. Say Russ comes in and he bombs, right? Say he bombs on one of the lifts. Other people that are maybe in the running for the overall win don't have a great day, bomb out, just off, etc. And you get somebody that's it's number 7 or number 8 that ends up on the podium or has the day of their life, ends up
Great,
winning. Like, how do
great,
you move that in there?
great. Yeah, they
Yeah.
when it's time to give awards, they jump up on the podium and they take their award. If you win from the morning, you win from the morning. It's not a it's a way to avoid monotony in the broadcast. No, like it's of course there's okay. Like when you we have these discussions all the time, and someone brings up a point. It's point counterpoint, right? You give me a point, I go counterpoint.
Yeah.
The thing is the reason it's sometimes an issue in politics. We don't all have a north star, right? Our north star, and I think me and you have the same north star. We want the sport to be watchable, and we want it to grow. If you want it to be watchable, you cannot have 893s in the same flight. You just can't, despite what kind of negative things can happen, because you're going to end up with a thing where you're going to have 2 or 3 people battling, and then the other 6 are just going to be like watching paint dry. It's the same issue I talk about at World. You have to create some sort of course, it's going to negatively affect those guys, but you have to create some sort of way to make the sport more watchable, and that's there are downsides to everything. But then you just have their score on the top of the leaderboard. And now you're watching that too. You're saying this was their score. And it's like golf. Like golf, it happens all the time where you're they try to line it up as best they can,
Yeah.
but like you can still be in one of the earlier pairings and you could be in the clubhouse with the lead. Right.
Yeah.
And so,
Fair enough.
there's plenty of precedent for it. And like, if it doesn't work, we can just go back to the same bullshit we have now. like if it ends up happening that 8 years in a row someone wins from the morning, well, now more people might tune into the morning. Like,
Right.
there's you just gotta again, you bias towards what works for other sports. You run it like other sports do because they already have a track record of success, and then if it doesn't work, then you go back. Right.
Mhm. Yeah.
You follow the rules. You sent me that thing. I didn't really even read it because I know the sports world is massive, and I know it's one of the best businesses. Like, what was the gist of that? That was the gist of the article, that sports is really valuable.
Just a little bit, but just some of the specific numbers. Right, we could actually dive into
That could be next
some of the
week.
numbers next week.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. So we're referencing, just for future reference. This was Apollo, huge private equity firm, put out a report, and they've got a lot of investments in the sports world.
Who owns that? It's
Apollo
one of the
is
team owners. It's one of the team owners.
who is it? The biggest guy is, I forget his name, David something or other from Blackstone. Let's see, is Leon Black the guy? Leon Black was the founder of it. Does he have sports holding? Anyway, we can get more into that a little bit later. But I've got a hard stop in a little bit. Where do we want to leave off here?
Oh, I was going to be saying. Oh, we got to see what Reddit thinks about powerlifting.
Okay, let's do it. What's one? You make your pick. What do we want to think? What does Reddit think about powerlifting this week?
There was one, but this is a good one. What's your policy on music at meets? Can you pick your own tracks for when it's your lift? I'm doing a meet this summer and I'm trying to get my ducks in a row before June. So, okay. That's the smallest duck, first off. It's the smallest duck you need to get in a row.
That's a tiny one, yeah.
So I'll tell you how I do it, and like then I can maybe talk more globally about this. How I do it is I actually the person who works the score table during third attempts, they have nothing to do because no one's entering attempts. So that person, we play whatever third attempt the handler, the lifter wants to give to that person. That's how we do it. And they just have a tablet. They tell them what they want. The person who does it is usually pretty competent, and they just pick the next one.
Yeah.
There are some issues with like copyright.
Yes. So that's the big thing we run into with, because we're fortunate enough to have Mike Zawolitzki setting up the live streams for us, putting them on YouTube, and so that's a challenge that we have to deal with.
I have never once had an issue with that on a live stream. I know people talk about it all the time. I
Yeah,
do not.
I've had it with other videos, not live streams, but I have had it with other videos. But it is a concern, and you could also say, I mean, that was probably also. It sounded like a lot of not a lot, all the music that they were playing live in the arena at Sheffield was non-copyrighted
Well,
music.
I mean, again, that's it's so interesting because at a real sporting event that would never ever happen because the goal of a sporting
Yeah,
event is to entertain the crowd.
yeah,
And so the problem is this is where the the goals are different, right? The goal, and
yeah,
that's why there's a serious problem. And I mean, people really don't want to talk about it because they're really happy with how things are. I don't care how much money SPD is putting into this shit. Their goal needs to be to make it an entertaining thing because I promise you, if they just focus on that, they will sell more knee sleeves.
yeah,
Like the goal should not be knee sleeve forward. The goal should be to grow the sport because I promise you, you'll sell more knee sleeves.
yeah.
Like all this bullshit they do with restricting certain athletes from doing certain things. I promise you, if you just make an amazing event, you will sell more shit in the long run. Okay. My goal when I work at my gym, my goal is to make it the fucking sickest gym you possibly have. We have 400 pieces of the craziest equipment you've ever seen. And you know what? We are just disgustingly successful just based on that. We're open 24/7, super clean, all these things. We focus on those things, and the money comes because of that, not the,
Yeah.
So again, it's like the reason they don't have music is because they want to put it on YouTube. They want to put it on YouTube because the most people possible watch so they can sell their product. Yeah, we're still yapping. We started at 6. We're about to wrap up. Okay, Future, you're coming on next week. We'll do it on your schedule.
No, we're not. No, we're doing it. We're doing it on our schedule.
No, he's in East. He's in Eastern, and he's it's tax season, so we will.
It sucks for him. Tough shit. You want to come on our show? You can come.
No,
You
that's.
can work it out around our
I
schedule. No,
thought
no,
I
no,
would
no, no,
work
no, no,
it.
no.
Never mind.
This is no. This is our show. No, no,
Hey,
no.
at least it's not the
And you know
Sabbath.
what?
At least it's not the Sabbath.
We'll you know what? If you are a multi-time IPF world champion, then yeah, we'll adjust our schedule for you a little bit. But until then, okay, tough
He
shit. There
says
you
he'll
go.
do
Do
it
it
from
from
work.
work.
There we go.
There you go.
That's what
There
I'm
you go,
talking
desk
about. Build
jockey.
the
There you go.
client.
All right. Okay. Let's wrap it up here because I've got to split. We've been
No,
going
perfect.
on
Hour
for
and a
long
half.
enough.
Perfect. We did it in time.
Absolutely. We're almost like we're tightening this up, like we're trying to be professionals here or something. So, also, I will sign off with this. Blow up Mike Zawalinski's inbox and tell him you want a barstool like setup
You want
for Listen
listen
for
for
Commands.
commands
Listen for
at that.
Commands.
Dude,
Yes.
I'm gonna get a custom mountain thing with the LFC and our faces really fucking big. And I'm gonna put them on the backdrop, and then I'm gonna have to hire someone to fly out to do this. It's gonna be expensive, but it's a write-off.
Right.
Anyway,
Everything
I'm
is a
MVP
write-off.
Poppy. That's Bill Coyne, and this was Listen for Commands. We'll see you next week, Wednesday. Same bad time, same bad place.
Thanks,
Unless our
everybody.
guest moves again. Bye.